When the news dropped, I remember Mark Henry being the first guy to text me, "Hey man, come down to the hotel." This was before at SummerSlam. Come down to the green room. And I said, oh man. So he was like one of the first guys that I met in the green room. He's like, man, how come you didn't tell me?
Another in-person interview. Oh man, so good to have Fred Rosser back with us. So good to have you back with us. And a lot's changed since the last interview with Fred Rosser right up there. He wasn't even wrestling at the time. Fred Rosser, of course, better known to a lot of WWE fans as Darren Young. Speaking of young, and what a segue this is gonna be, if you wanna stay looking young, boom, Tiege Hanley, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring this video. I did an interview the other day and someone's like, Chris, it looks like you found the fountain of youth. What is the secret? Among a bunch of other things like working out and drinking lots of water, it's this right here. Tiege Hanley in the morning, Tiege Hanley at night. I keep showing you this box and pointing to this box because everything you need comes inside here and it's delivered every month. Uncomplicated skincare for men. It isn't just their tagline, although it is a great tagline, but it's just so true. Look how easy this is. You get 4 bottles that come inside that box. The wash, the scrub, the AM moisturizer, and the PM moisturizer, and that's it. So you wash your face in the morning and then right before you go to bed. And guys, I'm not an expert on this, but you probably shouldn't be washing your face with the same soap that you wash the boys with. Then you got the scrub, and you see right there, twice a week, and that digs in a little bit deeper and gets rid of some of that extra dirt and grime, and this stuff also smells and feels incredible. Then you got the moisturizer, AM moisturizer in the morning, PM moisturizer right before you go to bed. And the best part about the AM moisturizer is it has SPF 20 in it, so you don't have to think about putting on sunscreen, especially if you're gonna be spending time outside that day. And since Tiege Hanley cuts out the middleman, they can sell direct to you for a great price. And this makes a pretty great gift for the holidays, either for you or for somebody in your family that you love. And since they're sponsoring today's video, not only are you gonna get the best possible price, but you'll also get a free gift. Perhaps that gift is for you and the Tiege Hanley box is for the person you're giving it to. I don't know. That's up to you. So if you click that link in the description, I'll also make it the pinned comment in case you're looking for it. You can get started for just 30 bucks and you get that free gift with your first box. 30 bucks, and I promise you, the future version of yourself is gonna go back to this moment and back to this video and go, I am so glad that I got started with Tiege Hanley.
I am so glad that you came by here. Thank you so much.
Mr. No Days is in the house, you know what I mean? Like, I believe in good karma, you know? So last time we connected, I spoke a lot of stuff into existence.
Yeah.
And I always say that I don't just speak it into the atmosphere, I speak it to people like you that will hold me accountable. And I'm making moves with New Japan Strong. And first and foremost, the last time I wore this jacket was this past May with WWE doing a Nexus uncut, uncensored documentary. They invited me, I said, sure, no problem. Came with my New Japan jacket. Before we started, the producer said, do you mind if you take off the New Japan jacket? So I'm just saying, are you gonna tell me to take off the New Japan jacket? You gonna ask me to take it off? I hope
Am I gonna ask you? Of course not.
I hope not.
What? So WWE asked you to take it off, but we saw the photos of you wearing it on the set.
Yeah, and I came prepared. I knew they were gonna say it. And I said, you know, I worked hard for this jacket. Yeah. And you guys just inducted Jushin Liger into the Hall of Fame. This is supposed to be uncut, uncensored. And not only did I say that, I said I had just talked to John Laurinaitis because he reached out to me to see how things were going with me. He told me about maybe a collaboration between New Japan and WWE. So let me just be me. If this is supposed to be uncut, uncensored Nexus documentary, then let me just be proud of this jacket. And then the producer said, no problem, you sold me on it.
Man.
You know, like, man, I worked hard, like 10 years, 11 years after Nexus, they want to interview us guys, and I'm not some washed up wrestler. I still got a lot left in the tank, and like, I'm proud of this, you know what I mean? And at the time when they did the interview, I'd asked who they interviewed for this, and I was one of them. Stu Bennett, Wade Barrett, and Daniel Bryan. So they ultimately shelved the documentary, maybe because of what I had did, and also because of Daniel Bryan going to AEW.
Maybe. I mean, you don't know, right? Maybe it's shelved for now and it'll come out at some other point in time.
But Chris, I mean, I said, like, come on, don't rob the people of a good documentary.
Seriously.
Because it was good. Because I mentioned on the documentary that Daniel Bryan was not part of the Nexus. You know what I mean? And that's coming from Stu Bennett, Wade Barrett, the leader of the Nexus. He was not part of it. He was part of the chaos recalls that one night. But, you know, the original were us.
The chaos with Justin Roberts and the tie around the neck.
Yeah, so I mean, I know we're one-on-one right now, so don't test me. Don't test me. I'm gonna keep this jacket on, damn it.
Jeez, okay, you can keep the jacket. Wow, you're getting very angry here, Fred.
But listen, Chris, I will drive an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to be here because, like, I want people to hear my story, no matter what. Don't die with a story and you tell it. So, again, I'm on time for this. How many people do you interview that are not on time?
I don't even want to get into it. And the only I don't even. And the only reason I was late to go downstairs to pick you up is because there's 2 entrances to my apartment building.
It took you forever. I said, damn, I had to take the mask off because I was getting tan lines. I come camera ready. Anytime, any place, anywhere, I come camera ready.
I literally went out. I ran out there, did not see you, and I went, oh, no. Oh, no. And I had to run around the building to the other entrance, and there you were.
Don't have me turn into Vampiro. I will do it.
Please.
I will do it.
And that could mean so many different things. I don't even know. I don't.
Me and Arnold always crack up because he knows you like a book. I know you like a book. So me and Arnold Telegarta, who I do pro wrestling with.
Love that guy.
Yeah, for fun. We always crack up about it because he really follows you religiously in all the interviews you do. So yeah, it's fun. We always talk about you.
Well, thank you. Wow, that's amazing. Before that interview with Vampiro, before we hit record, he goes, I want to run something by you. And I'm like, okay. He goes, I think on your show, I want to start an angle with Chris Jericho. I want to call out Chris Jericho. And I'm like, if you want to, sure. And then he did, and then it turned into what it was. And then months later, he's like, yeah, I want to apologize to Chris Jericho for that. Like, okay, well, come back on and we'll apologize.
Chris Jericho is a huge inspiration to me. So Vampiro, doing whatever he has to do to get in there with Chris Jericho, do it. He's been a big inspiration to me. Before the pandemic, I did a off-Broadway musical about marriage equality in New York right before the pandemic. And why he was an inspiration, because he did Dancing with the Stars. He does other projects. He's into so much. So I don't want to have any regrets. So I'm doing the musical because of Chris Jericho, branching off into so many projects. He's a huge inspiration. And on any interview I do and his name comes up, like I always talk about him.
Yeah, I have nothing but amazing things to say about Chris Jericho. And the thing I love about him is he always makes time for you.
Yes.
If you send him a text or you send him a message, you want to run something by him, he always makes time for you.
And it's funny, backstage with WWE, it's one of my mom's favorite wrestlers. One time when he was feuding with Kevin Owens and they were about to have a scuffle backstage, Jericho was talking to my mom. And I walked over to Jericho. I said, oh, Jericho, that's my mom. And he was like, yeah, I know who she is. Like, he knows her from social media and just from her being backstage. And, like, the producers, this is a live segment with him and Kevin Owens. They're like, Jericho, we're about to go live in 30 seconds. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll be right there. And he's, like, continuing the conversation with my mom until, like, they're 3, 2. And then he just goes right into it. I'm like, man,
wow.
He's a pro. He's an OG. Like, nothing phases him. So props to Jericho.
I want to go back to something you said earlier. New Japan and WWE are going to work out some sort of partnership here?
Well, at the time when Laurinaitis took over talent relations, he reached out to old talent that he had hired, just seeing how things were. And I said, hey, Johnny, everything's going great. I'm with New Japan doing my thing. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do the voices. I'm sorry, because that's one thing that the wrestlers say that backstage I'm really good with impersonations. He said, I did a run in AEW. I mean, not AEW, All Japan. And I said, yeah, I've watched your stuff. And he said about a possible partnership between New Japan and WWE. And I said, oh, that's great. And that was that. So who knows what that relationship could have been, but that's what he had told me.
Well, Jushin Liger being in the Hall of Fame, like you mentioned earlier, kind of feels like the door is ajar. Maybe there's possibilities here.
Yeah, I mean, never say never. Never say never. Bucket list for me is to, I don't want to lose track, but to Daniel Bryan, come on, we did the original NXT. We trained together when he was living in Tampa. Come to New Japan Strong. It's a new show with New Japan, and come, work me, put us on the map. So that's my challenge to Daniel Bryan to, come to Strong and put us on the map, and that's what it's all about, especially at this time in wrestling where that forbidden door or whatever is so wide open. Like it would be a bucket list match for me,
Yeah.
So
I would think it's not a matter of if Daniel Bryan goes to New Japan and wrestles. It's a matter of when. Is it sometime in 2022? Is it in 2023? Who knows? But I think it's going to happen eventually.
But he's got to come to New Japan Strong, Like New Japan Strong is like, it's a new up-and-coming show. I was called during the pandemic, and we'll get into that, about working with New Japan Strong. And it's a show that's on the internet. It's like my bread and butter, man. I always say in interviews, I want to be the Tommy Dreamer of New Japan Strong because, I'm just so overprotective of the brand. My biggest honor with New Japan Strong was getting Match of the Year 2020 with Tom Lawler. I want to put them on the map, So if he comes, he's got to come to New Japan Strong, where it's such an intimate crowd. It's an intimate setting. It's very gritty. It's not fancy, but the Japanese audience really loves it.
What I love about you is so much has changed since we last spoke. That was almost 3 years ago. So much has changed. You weren't even really in wrestling at the time back then.
No, not at all. That's why I say I have to do these major interviews, because not only do I got to share my story with you again, but like you're a friend, you know what I mean? So I want to do anything I can to, just share my story, and I believe in karma, like I said earlier. So before this interview, I wasn't doing much, and then I kept speaking it. I kept speaking it into existence about, goals and aspirations of New Japan. And I think it was probably September 2019, a show in Pomona, California, where I ran into Lance Hoyt, and at the time he was still with New Japan. And he asked me how I was doing. I said, like we were talking in the interview before, I'm just keeping it moving, but I've always had dreams and aspirations of New Japan. Mm-hmm. And he, now if we did this podcast at my place, I would show you the flyer he had gave me about the New Japan show at the Globe Theater. This was going to be November of 2019, right before the pandemic. So I went to a New Japan show. The show started at 7 p.m. I got there 5 p.m. because I wanted to be able to feel the ring. I wanted to be able to meet the wrestlers, meet Rocky Romero, who's like my heart and soul. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be with New Japan
love that
Strong.
guy.
Oh, Rocky. So I sat there doing the show, first New Japan show. always intimidated in a style since a kid because it's such a, it's physical. It's physical. It's no nonsense. So I watched the show at the Globe Theater in November 2019 from beginning to end, and that one question was running in my head like, do I fit in? Do I fit in? Can I keep up with these guys? And after watching the show at the Globe Theater, November 2019, I said to myself, man, I can hang with these guys. You know, I can go, I can elevate these guys. That's what it's all about at this point in my career, elevating guys, working with talent, highlighting them, also getting my shit in, but highlighting other talents. So after the show, I talked to Rocky Romero, and I said, what do I have to do? Do I have to, at the time, maybe 17, 18 years in the business, do I have to try out at the dojo in LA? I'll do it, whatever it takes, because that's how my mindset was when I got signed in WWE, 2009.
That's student mentality.
Yeah, whatever it takes. So this was a conversation I had with Rocky November 2019, and then the pandemic hit. And he reached out to me in June of 2020, July of 2020, about working with New Japan Strong. And I said, man, it sounds like a great opportunity, but we're heavy into the pandemic. Let me get back to you, Rocky. Let me talk to my family. And my family, all doctors, they all assured me that, you know, if they're all COVID compliant, to go for it, you know, go for it. So my family blessed me with this opportunity, and I called up Rocky because I was delaying. My family blessed me. I called up Rocky. I said, let's do it. And, you know, the true test of like a really passionate, good worker is with no crowd. That's the true test, because your work is right there. You know, it's you and the camera. And people say, what's the difference between a crowd and a camera? For me, my thing is with my opponent, you know, and working the cameras at home, you know, being able to tell that story the best way possible. And, you know, the people see through your work, you know, that's the true test. And to have match of the year with Tom Lawler, ultimately heavy into the pandemic, you know, that's major for me. That's major for me. And we just wrestled again. It's been a year later since we've wrestled, and people are saying in attendance that it's better than the first match of the year that we had. So that's like a huge honor. Huge honor.
I think what's great about New Japan Strong is this is a lot of people's first introduction to the New Japan style, because for a long time you could only watch New Japan in Japan or really seek it out online. This is available to American audiences.
Yeah, and I'm always pushing it on social media. You know, social media is like a second job. So I'm always, you know, again, New Japan is my bread and butter, and I still haven't gotten out there yet, but that's the goal, you know, 2022. So 2021, we've started having crowds, COVID compliant, just we've been doing Dallas, we've been touring slowly, and 2022, we're going to be hitting Tampa, we're going to be hitting, where else?
Los Angeles.
Yes, Los Angeles, Seattle. Yeah, I mean, we're back again right now at the Vermont here in Hollywood. I invited your ass.
Oh, no.
And, you got a concert.
Did you see the look on Arnold, his face there?
I invited Arnold Telegarta, my boy, our boy. He's got another, he's going to be out of town. I invite all my friends. People ask me, you know, they ask me, oh, when you have a show in L.A., you know, invite me, you know? I'm not saying that, like, I just want you to come just to come, but you invite people and, like, oh, they got stuff to do, and you let them know ahead of time.
You guys are here often, right? Riverside recently?
Yes.
Okay. I am so sorry.
Oh,
it's
no.
It's my favorite. Jeez, that was getting serious there. It's my favorite band of all time.
Yeah, no,
The Dangerous Summer.
Do it.
They haven't toured in so long. I haven't been to a concert since 2019. And I got a notification that The Dangerous Summer was going to be in Irvine, California.
What app do you use? Bands in Town?
So I follow this. We're going to go off
the water break.
This is how you know he lifts weights. Shows up with a gallon of water.
I'm sorry, my mouth is dry from talking so much because I'm excited. And you said to me, a gallon of water like a bodybuilder.
I've just got to point this in your direction. There it is.
I don't lift like a bodybuilder. Functional training.
You're
so
lean and mean these days.
Yeah, and I do the intermittent fasting.
Okay.
So
we'll get into all that too.
Yeah, I don't eat till
Very
6 p.m.
Okay, you can put that down. I'll talk while you drink your water. I follow The Dangerous Summer on Spotify, and Spotify sent me a notification and said, hey, they're going to be in town. And then I went, oh, I need to go. So The Dangerous Summer with Secondhand Serenade. This is a giant throwback for anybody who likes pop punk or emo or anything like that. So, Fred, I'm so sorry that I won't be at that show, but I'll be at the next one. I
Yeah,
promise you.
okay, but be careful because these concerts, man, just be careful. Just know your surroundings.
Like in terms of like, don't get into the mosh pit and get
Yeah,
squashed.
don't do any of that stuff. Goodness gracious, you know.
You know, this is crazy, and I don't want to go off on too much of a pop punk tangent here, but I went to a Newfound Glory concert recently. You know who they are?
I've heard of them, yes.
So their first album was in like the year 2000. So I was like 16 when their first album came out. I went to a concert right before the pandemic, and everybody there was like 20. And I'm like, wait, how do you guys know about Newfound Glory? Like, I'm in my 30s, and they're amazing. I was one of the oldest people there. So I will, and I'm not saying I'm old. We're not old, Fred.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be one of the oldest people at this concert, just standing in the back, enjoying a nice craft beer and singing along to the songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you enjoy yourself. Just know your surroundings.
And I'll be at the next show.
Okay, definitely,
Promise you.
definitely. And again, I didn't. I just invited him personally, but it's the other people. It's the other people that say, "Oh, let me know when you have a show in town."
Okay. Yeah. I'll be there at the next one. How much more important is it to you that you're now headlining as Fred Rosser, not Darren Young? This is your actual name in the marquee.
And it's funny, we talked about this earlier. During the Olympics, my family was always rooting for different teams, you know, other than Japan when the Olympics were in Tokyo. I was always rooting for Japan, and my family's like, why are you always rooting for Japan? Because New Japan Strong were the first to put me on the marquee before WWE, so it's like a loyalty. It's like when I was doing the Nexus, I was part of a group. When I was tagging with Titus, I was part of a tag team. Doing my thing with Bob Backlund as a singles, it was finally taken off, but it is what it is. Finally, with New Japan, you know, I'm getting this, you know, I'm getting this opportunity, you know, so it's like, it's so important to me. They put me on the marquee first, and Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser, Darren Young, whether you Google me, it all comes up the same.
Yeah.
But like, it means the world to me. It's my government name, you know? And it's, I'm not afraid to dream another dream, you know what I mean? Like, I think, you know, the reason why people are so down and depressed in this world is because they're not like doing what they love, they're doing what they have to. And that's like what the work world and the workforce does. It steals dreams, you know what I mean? And, you know, New Japan Strong is my heart, you know what I mean? So whatever it takes, you know, whatever it takes to start over again. For me, I'm not starting from scratch.
Oh,
I'm
not
starting
at
from
all.
experience. You know what I mean, bro?
Of course.
Like, I mean, come on.
You're a veteran in New Japan Strong.
Yeah, and I hate the word former. Anytime I do interviews, I say WWE veteran because my journey started in 2003 when I was doing extra work from 2003 to 2009 and getting signed and working from them from 2009 to 2017, and then, you know, ultimately getting signed with New Japan, you know, and, you know, everyone has a lane in wrestling, and all the wrestling that's out there, I love it all. CM Punk said on a interview that don't get fooled into like picking a brand or picking an organization. Watch it all, enjoy it all, and that's and that's my philosophy on wrestling. But for me, I've got to stay in my lane. Everyone has a lane, and no one can beat you in your lane when you just stay in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people ask me, you want to go back to WWE? Well, you know, if they ask me, maybe we can talk, but I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure you know.
Garyvee, of
Yeah,
course.
Garyvee. I had the opportunity, and he's up there with you, to do his podcast.
Oh, he is many
No,
levels above me,
He's
but
up
thank
there,
you.
and that was a bucket list for me because I listen to him all the time, and
That's
he
amazing.
uses this analogy. which is simple, but with him it hit. For example, these are numbers I'm talking about. I'd rather make $150,000 with New Japan and be happy than make $350,000 with WWE and be unhappy.
Yeah.
At $150,000, you just have to live a little bit more humbly.
Yeah.
And that's just like, that's just simple.
150,000, even in California, is still a pretty good life.
Yeah, but you're happy, and that's the most important thing. And
Yeah.
at 38 years old, like your 20s, you're trying to figure stuff out. 38, man, I'm proud. I cry wolf about feeling old, but man, I'm making my 20s jealous of my 30s, man.
I love that. We still got like another, we're both 38. We've still got another, I'm going to live to be like 120. So we've still got another like 80 years here.
Hey, man, health is wealth, man.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. So, like,
when you talk about salary, it reminds me of a quote from Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. And he said, a salary is the bribe that you're given to give up on your dreams. And I was like, man, that hits hard.
I understand that.
Because think about it. Because you get into a job, you go, you know, the benefits are pretty good, you know, I get paid a decent amount. I get 3 weeks vacation. You know, I could chase my own thing, but you know, this is pretty solid. And you give up on your dreams because you've got something that's okay enough.
You hit it, man. You hit it. I mean, what else is there to say about that?
Yeah. And exactly what you're saying with Garyvee is, it's so true.
I mean,
happiness should drive it all.
And I mean that's why I'm doing it with New Japan.
I love it. But you had a bit of a break when you got released from WWE till we saw you in a ring again. Was that intentional, or did you just did you want time off, or were you looking for the right fit?
You know, it's funny, and I'll say it again. My dad is my biggest supporter. You know,
Not bigger than your mom. Come on.
Yeah, no, yeah, she's a huge supporter. But if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. He's a huge fan, and he's even as a kid. You know, if I get 3 B's and 1 A, he's like, "How come you didn't get A's?" So he's always pushing me. So at this point in my life, he's like, you know, he's talking about the other wrestlers. He's a huge fan. He's talking about the other wrestlers. Oh, when are you going to be the belt collector? Or when are you going to do AEW? I said, Dad, you know, I tried AEW not once but twice, but at the time they said no.
You reached out to them?
Yeah, this was a couple of years ago.
Like when they were just starting out?
Yeah, when they were just starting off, and they didn't have anything for me. So my dad's pushing me again, like you know, the forbidden door is open. When are you going to start working Impact? And I say to him, Dad, you know, very calmly, I just want to focus with New Japan Strong. So now, at 38 years old, I'm saying to myself, you know, maybe take his advice, you know, maybe reach out to them again and again and again and again, you know, and then kind of like, you know, shove it in his face. All right, Dad, I did it, you know.
If Rocky Romero was just working some matches in AEW,
yeah, so
no reason you can't.
Exactly. So that's why I like 2022. I just want to be able to, you know, work wherever through New Japan, of course.
But a lot of people get released from WWE, and then 90 days later, 91 days later, we see them on indie shows. That wasn't the case for you. Did you just want to take some time?
Well, I had moved out to LA ultimately to pursue acting and commercials. So I moved out here August 2017. My release happened October of 2017, a few days before my birthday on Halloween. So I was very, very upset.
But it's almost like you were foreshadowing. You know, you'd move to LA and then 2 months later get released.
Yeah, well, I was also hurt too. I was just coming back from Tommy John surgery to my elbow.
That's so funny. That's a baseball injury.
Yeah, and it's very uncommon in wrestling,
Yeah.
very common in baseball. So I've never played baseball a day in my life. So I'm rehabbing like a baseball player. I mean, knock on wood. Well, there's wood here.
There's wood.
But
don't they take a ligament from your leg and put it in your arm?
They did that with my knee, but I don't remember.
I think if you're like, I'm no expert. I haven't had Tommy John surgery, but I think that if your arm's completely shot, that's what they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There might be some screws in it, I think, but I'm not sure.
Gosh.
I'm not sure, honestly.
So you're rehabbing it, and obviously you weren't ready to work indie matches because you were injured?
Well, when I got hurt, I was with WWE. This was January of 2017. I ultimately came back August 2017 to wrestling with WWE,
Yeah.
but I was already moving out to LA because, again, you get that feeling, nothing lasts forever. Anything can happen. So I was just making that move ahead of time, and then the release happened soon after. So I was already out here just, developing a reel. It's tough. I'll be honest with you. It's tough when you don't have any acting reel, so you have to develop it. So you've got to do projects that are free. And you've got to do projects that, compensate a little bit, So again, the goal can't be, money driven, but you have to kind of like, suck it up, and you've got to do the free stuff to develop that reel. So I was spending a ton of time doing that, and
You also have to audition for stuff that's free.
Yes.
So you put all this time into developing this character, all this time into putting yourself on tape. It's free, and then you don't book it, and you're like, oh, and this is just, this is part of how it goes. And then it's like, all right, well, I got to look for another audition now.
Yeah.
And that's how the industry is, but it's tough. It's really tough.
It is tough. And like Tom Hanks said it the best, because I watched a lot of his stuff. I always say, just as much as people look up to me on social media as an inspiration, I look up to guys like Tom Hanks, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, The Rock for inspiration.
You're listing all the goats here. Like I have Will Smith's book over on my table over there.
Brand new.
Good.
I see that. I see that.
I'll lend it to you when I'm done.
Okay,
it's so good.
Cool.
Who's been your biggest inspiration in your life in terms of people and then people that you don't know or maybe met later on in life that you looked up to as a role model?
Well, before I lose my train of thought, like Tom Hanks said, when it comes to auditions, to just do them, be prepared, knock them out, hit a home run, and then move on to the next one. Because if you start to oh, I hope, you might not get that, So you've got to prepare. Be confident that you hit a home run, and then move on to the next.
Just close the book.
Exactly.
And on to the next one.
So that helped out a lot. So your question was, I'm sorry.
So who's been your biggest inspiration of people you like in your life physically, and then someone that you looked up to as a role model? Maybe you did meet them later on in life.
Well, someone I know, I'd have to say it's my mom and my grandfather. Definitely my pop, 96 years old. When I'm able to go back home to New Jersey and visit, he's got a plethora of knowledge, and he's so, I always post about him on social media, and I just ask him random questions like, Pop, I ask him random rapid fire questions that I would ask people on the podcast. I say, 96-year-old Pop. So, Pop, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say? Oh, be cool and don't be no fool. Just little stuff like that,
Sounds like he'd be a great wrestler.
Yeah, and he's always been my biggest supporter too. As a kid, taking me to get toys, wrestling action figures. He's the only grandparent to watch me live in front of 20 people or WrestleMania, you know what I mean? And WrestleMania in New York, and that meant the world to me. And 96 years old, he still gets up every day. I remember one time we were talking on the phone, and he forgot to hang up the phone. And I'm just listening to him on the phone, and then after we were done with the conversation, he's just, today is a great day. He's singing to himself at 96 years old.
Wow.
He's getting up, today is if I had a dream. And he's just singing to himself. And I'm like, man, that's how you live long. You just sing to yourself. He thinks the phone is off. He's there, 96 years old, by himself, getting his clothes on, getting his Stone Cold Steve Austin braces on, and going out and driving around the town like a mayor, He's one of the oldest veterans, World War II veterans out there, and that's who my biggest inspiration is. You know what I mean? Like when I get stressed out, I go to him, and he's got that be cool and don't be no fool. So he's a huge inspiration. And my mom, be on time. be on time. If we were going to a concert with my mom and it starts at 7, we would be there at 4 o'clock. Like, Mom, why so early? You know, like, be on time. For this interview, for anything, just be on time. So those are like a lot of my inspirations that I, just put out there and stuff that I practice, and then you talk about people that are outside of my family.
Yeah, like role models you'd see on TV or athletes or actors.
I think everyone I mentioned earlier, just as much as people look at to me for inspiration, and you'll get people that say that are, that verified check is like, whether you like it or not, it means something, So you'll hear people on social media say, oh, I need a break from social media. I need a break, but I can't do it, I've got to keep posting quality content that is meaningful to me. Yeah. My social media is an open diary to the world, so anything I ever post always comes from the heart with the intent to inspire, motivate, and educate the masses.
Yeah. When you came out publicly, it was such a big deal in the news, but you did it as such like, it just kind of happened, right? You just kind of came up in conversation. I don't think you were even planning to come out.
Yeah.
When did you come out privately? When did you come out to your family?
I came out 2 years before I came out publicly to the world.
So
I came out
2011?
Yeah, I came out to my immediate family, my mom. I was nervous about my grandfather, who he's Pop, who I just mentioned. I was nervous about what he would think, and I said to my mom, because I know he saw it on the news, I said, Mom, what did Pop say about it? He said, I don't give a damn if he's green, yellow, brown, blue. That's my grandson, and I love him. And we still, we don't talk about it, but anytime I'm home, and he'll be like, all right, come on, Sonny, let's hit this town and find some chicks. I'm like, oh, Pop, all right, let's go. But he knows, but he's always just joking and stuff like that. I hope he still knows. But, yeah.
So you were 27 when you came out to your family?
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, you need that support system, and the sky's the limit. And there are many reasons why I wanted to come out publicly, ultimately. I wanted to be able to bring my boyfriend to red carpets with WWE at the time, which I was able to do. I wanted to be able to bring him backstage into the masculine world of professional wrestling, and I was able to do that. I hear the wrestlers talk about, their relationship problems, and I can be sassy. I can be like, honey, thank goodness I am gay. I can just be me. Before, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be very tough and but now I can just be me, and that's very important to me. And when you come out as an athlete, you have a duty to instill confidence in our youth and to lead by example. So that's why I'm always representing, block the hate, always representing. So,
in hindsight, do you wish you would come out publicly in a bigger way?
I mean, I did it,
But you did it. I feel like when you watch that video back, that TMZ video back, you're in an airport, you're randomly being asked questions.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, well, because I am gay.
I thought it was the biggest decision I ever made in my life, and I regretted it. I regretted it at the time. I was like, oh my God, what did I say? Because at the time, we were approached by TMZ during the Nexus days, and it's like, it is what it is. But when they approached me, I said, man, I said what I said. I was like, oh man, big mistake. And then that's when I had approached WWE, and I told them what had happened, and they supported me, and the rest is history,
So they filmed that video at the airport for TMZ. The video probably doesn't go live on the website for, several hours after? Or was it days?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was the next day.
Okay, so after you leave there, you've probably got a million thoughts running through your mind.
Million thoughts. I contacted WWE, and I told them what had happened. So I'm like, man.
Did they know?
So
now you're coming out again.
Yeah, no, they didn't know. And they assured me everything would be okay. And I remember I had to do a beer star the next day. And I told Stephanie, man, I can't do it. I can't be in front of a crowd because that guilty feeling of that fear of the unknown. I was just sick. And the next day, when the news dropped, I remember Mark Henry, being the first guy to text me, hey, man, come down to the hotel. This was before at SummerSlam. Come down to the green room. And I said, oh, man. So he was like one of the first guys that I met in the green room. And he's like, man, how come you didn't tell me? I said, oh, man, just, I'm just fearful, He's like, man, I got cousins that are gay. And then from then on, me and Mark were just tight with guys like Randy Orton, CM Punk, who I always mention. So, yeah, those guys made it a lot easier for me to walk into a locker room.
Because it was now so much easier to be who you were, do you wish you'd done it earlier?
I mean, now that I think about it,
hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. But I get people all the time on my social media in the DMs, because it goes down in the DM, of course. People that reach out to me and they say that they want to commit suicide because, and these are fans that I've met, that they want to commit suicide because of X, Y, and Z. And then that's when I have to go into superhero mode and do video messages with them and talk them out of it. And that's when my fight becomes much bigger. So I'm glad that I'm able to be myself and I came out and help people on my social media. So for me, it's not a gimmick. It's what I'm about.
Well, and I appreciate that it didn't become your gimmick. You just kept doing what you were doing. And, there was a little asterisk there like, oh, yeah, like this is who Darren Young is or who Fred Rosser is.
Yeah, and to also be accepted by New Japan, again, I got Match of the Year with New Japan, not because I was gay, but the 13 or 15,000 fans that voted on that Match of the Year. I got it because I'm good at what I do, and I'm given an opportunity to just be me. That's the one thing with New Japan. I've been able to just be me, turned up, my own style. I feel comfortable in there. I can talk as much as I want on camera or as little as I want and create some really, really great content.
Yeah. What's changed for you professionally since you came out? You've been given a lot of opportunities, and it's amazing.
Yeah, the one thing I say with like the release wrestlers is whether you're with them like 5 years, 10 years, 6 months, a year, you've got to take the platform that you've built with WWE or anything that you do, and you've just got to, utilize it to the best of your ability. I don't call myself former. I call myself WWE veteran. And when the pandemic hit, and everything stopped, I didn't stop. I had to pivot. The gyms closed. I had to create my own workouts back in my yard, kettlebell training, TRX, just jump roping, whatever it took to stay in shape, because I got that phone call that I didn't know about with New Japan, Mm-hmm. So you got to stay ready so you don't have to get no days off. You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So staying in shape, I was very lucky during the pandemic to just reach out to hundreds and hundreds, personally, sponsorships, to see if they wanted to collaborate. Because for me, I don't want to give away my secrets, but reaching out to companies personally as an athlete, the verified check I said earlier it means a lot. Mm-hmm. When you reach out to these companies, whether it's a keto snack company or an energy drink company, you reach out to them personally and you see if they want to collaborate, with you. And at the time of the pandemic, there's nothing to do. You reach out to all these companies, and then you hit a home run with a handful. And I was lucky enough to utilize my platform to, represent stuff that I actually use. Because again, my social media is my diary, so I don't want to post anything that I'm not going to use. So energy drink, snacks that I genuinely like, I'm going to post about it. But again, we're a business, so we have to get compensated somehow, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And again, I don't ask for astronomical amounts, very, very, very easy going, very, a good amount is good for me. So I've been lucky to sponsorships and just stay healthy during the pandemic.
Let's talk about your training, because if people haven't seen you since you were in the ring with WWE, you are lean and mean now.
Yeah, probably like 10 pounds lighter. With WWE, I was like maybe 240. So I go between like 225 and 230. But I always say slow feet don't eat. So I'm always on the agility ladder. I'm always jump roping, because you see any boxer, for example, who's very lean, they do a lot of jump roping. So for me, my kind of training, the functional type training at 38 years old, just works good for me. I move a lot better in the ring. I feel great. Like sitting in a chair like this with no back would kill me, but that I've incorporated yoga, and my mobility training is on point. I feel great. I feel great. And
give me an example of a mobility workout, because we are the same age, and I'm still doing the push-pull legs, like bodybuilder type of style workout.
Well, again, I don't want to change up what you're doing, but I would incorporate more kettlebell work for me, jump roping, agility ladder stuff, because when you're not in the ring as often as you are with WWE, you're on the road 5-6 days a week,
sure,
you know, so you're beating your body up. When you're not in the ring as much with New Japan, it's a limited schedule. You've got to stay moving, because
You've also got time to recover now.
Yes,
which you didn't have with WWE.
Yes, major. I just, like Tom Lawler, we just had our second match. We went almost 30 minutes, and that's one of my longest matches ever. It was about a week ago, and I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering, because you're in there with a legit fighter, an MMA guy.
Yeah, he probably pushes you.
Yeah.
And it's that New Japan style.
Exactly. It wore me out. It wore me out. It's not fancy, it's not pretty, but it got good results, and I'm just now recovering. So
how different is Fred Rosser, the wrestler, from Darren Young, the wrestler?
Yeah, I always get that a lot. I mean, it's the same person. It's the same person, just turned up.
But it's not millions of dollars anymore.
I still throw that in there.
Okay.
You know, I still throw that. Any other promotion I work with, I still throw it in. I don't lose it. I just have fun with it, because again, it's stuff that I've created, that I just wild out to, you know, like the young kids say nowadays. But
stop pretending you're old, the young kids.
Yeah.
We're still young. Look at this man. You look great.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just Dusty Rhodes, you know, gave me Darren Young, you know, and it's WWE's name, you know, so I had a great time with it. But Mr. No Days Off, Fred Rosser is making moves. Still making moves. I still say, you know, still making $1 million moves on New Japan Strong, you know, and you can't have New Japan Strong without Prime Time, because I'm still Prime Time. So I use all that stuff, you know. I mean, I still use all that, unless they. I'm gonna just be me, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be me, turned up. Again, with me, some of the guys that I study, again, I don't like to give away my secrets, but I'm studying Stan Hansen, Muda, just the way he moves, you know, the way he goes about his offense. So I'm just studying the greats, man, and just making it my own. Tom Hanks said it the best. I got to quote him again: "You're dope if you don't steal from the greats." So I'm studying guys, still studying.
You're dope if you don't steal from the greats.
You're a dope.
You're a dope.
Yeah, you're a dope if you don't steal from the greats.
They had
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, so brilliant.
Yeah, so that, like, you know, don't be afraid to steal another style and make it your own, and that's what I'm doing.
Favorite Tom Hanks film?
Castaway.
It's mine too.
Castaway, and there's another one I forget, but yeah, Castaway.
Philadelphia, what a performance.
Philadelphia, yes, yes.
Well, we could like literally list any Tom Hanks movie, and you could be like, "Yep, that's my favorite movie."
Yeah,
I don't know if he's had a bad movie.
Yeah, just like, and I don't know if he's a method actor, but any projects.
I don't think so.
Yeah, any projects I do, I'm always like getting into the zone, getting into character. It's very interesting. Like the New Japan roster, I just love them. But when I'm in the ring with them, I'm just gonna tear them apart.
You still keep in touch with Titus?
Yeah, Titus is doing great. We still stay in contact. People always ask that. He's making moves as
Money moves?
Yeah, making money moves
is.
as a global ambassador.
Doing a lot of speaking too.
Yeah, and I always say the one thing about Titus I learned is closed mouths don't get fed. Anytime we didn't have anything on TV, he'd always bust in Vince McMahon's office. Hey, boss, what you got for us? And then if we didn't have anything, we would do on the app. So that's the one thing I learned from Titus, to just like, you got to go as close to the sun as possible. Vince McMahon, you know, the boss, whatever it takes, you know. Again, closed mouths don't get fed. So that's how I approach life, business too, you know.
Is there a specific lesson that you learned from Vince McMahon during your time in WWE?
I'll quote him again. Nervous people don't draw money, you know? So you can be excited about a performance, but if you're nervous about hitting a home run, you're not going to draw any money. And that's true, you know? And another thing is he would never have talent do anything that he wouldn't do himself. So that's another quote from him. And also, what's another one from Vince? Again, when it comes to promos, don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. And yeah, it's totally true, whether it's doing commercials or acting to wrestling. Never be afraid to make a fool of yourself. Yeah.
When you said that he wouldn't ask you to do something that he wouldn't do himself, what immediately came to mind is when he told Rob Gronkowski to fall off the stage.
Exactly.
And then there's the clip of him being like, well, and then he like does this shrug like, oh. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Exactly. So those and these are stuff I learned from him in promo class when we were not forced, but they had promo class set up before TV. So we'd have to be there early. And at the time, I wasn't out, so I would be petrified of doing promo class, petrified of being there 9 a.m. to do promos with Vince McMahon, because I just wasn't comfortable with myself. But once I was able to come out and, you know, just be myself years later, if I could be in his presence again, I would be a little bit more confident, you know, a little bit more confident and a little bit more myself.
Were you worried after you came out that they would really lean into that as a gimmick and a character, and that it would become like a different character for Darren Young?
Hey, I get asked that a lot too. I was just happy to just finally kind of be myself. I wasn't kind of worried about whether they would make it a gimmick or not. I just wanted to just be me and live out my dreams still as a WWE superstar.
Which worked out great for your character, but sometimes they go, oh, you know how to play guitar? Well, great. This is your new gimmick. You play guitar.
Yeah, exactly. If they would have, I don't know. I think being gay, you can be, being gay is masculine, feminine. It's anything you want to be. So
well, it's you.
Yeah, it's just me. So I just wanted to just be me. And Titus and I, we did it a few times, but we would kind of implement it in there as a joke or something like that. About my sexuality, just little stuff like that I was cool with, you know. But if you're gonna have me dress up, I mean, that's not me. I don't know what I would do with that character. But yeah,
I'm so curious what you thought of Billy and Chuck.
Oh, like me, I'm a diehard wrestling fan. So I think anything I saw on TV, I think the first wrestler I ever met was Louis Spicolli, you know. So it's just like it's a respect thing. So anything I've ever seen on TV, I was never the guy to be so judgmental, you know, about what I see. I just watch the product and just you either like it or you don't. I just move on. I don't comment about it. And that's the one thing I love about Arnold that I do the podcast with, because he's not in the business, but he, you know, you're not in the business, but you have your own 2 cents. You're still respectful. You're respectful of the business. So, yeah.
People also forget Billy and Chuck weren't gay at the end. They weren't gay.
Yeah, they weren't gay. It's entertainment, you know. So, again, it's, you know, they wanted to do it. They ran with it. They made it. They made it work. And
Billy always talks about, like, I've interviewed him many times. He talks about how hilarious he thought it was. Like, that was the most fun gimmick he's ever done.
Yeah, as long as he had fun, you know. I have fun being me, but again, I'm a wrestling fan, so I enjoyed the entertainment aspect. I wasn't hurt over it at all.
Who were the wrestlers you loved growing up?
I mean, I always say Shawn Michaels, of course, Bret Hart, Ricky Steamboat, because they always had
How
me.
can you be a Shawn Michaels and a Bret Hart guy?
Yeah, I just, you know, Bret, the way he sold, man. Well, Shawn was was ultimate with that too, but you know, Bret's connection with me goes back not even with wrestling. When he was actually, you know, diagnosed at one time with prostate cancer, my uncle, who's a urologist who specializes in prostate cancer, I had contacted Bret and I connected Bret and my uncle together, and Bret had said at the time that out of all the doctors he talked to about his condition, my uncle was the most informative, and assured him that he would recover and referred him certain doctors in Canada, you know. So that's like my outside connection with Bret.
Wow.
So Bret always, with the block tape movement, without a doubt, anytime I need him to shout out the block tape movement, he's always on top of it. So that's like my connection to him outside of the ring. But again, it was always Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Ricky Steamboat that I can like think of. Even guys like Brad Armstrong, you know, they just, the way they moved in the ring. I didn't know why I liked them, but they just always had me captivated by, you know, that fire.
Yeah. What is the Block the Hate movement for people who might now just be hearing it for the first time and don't follow you on social?
No, I mean, the Block Tape movement originally started with me being the first openly gay WWE superstar, but it's like more than just an LGBTQ movement. It's for anyone that gets bullied in the silence, for someone says that you can't achieve your dreams because at the time, I was a kid, I had a speech impediment, I was overweight as a kid, but I didn't let those disabilities hold me down. I just tuned out the noise and I just blocked the hate, you know, and I was able to achieve my dreams. And I always say my fight's much more bigger than the ring. It's, you know, doing my advocacy work, and I can't wait to do more of it in 2022 because, you know, there's 7 billion plus people on this damn planet. So whatever it takes for me to share my story with you again, with the masses, I'm going to do.
Yeah, and it's bigger than you.
Yes.
That's what's so great about it.
Yes, and it's almost, I say it all the time, it's the next middle finger. You tell me I can't achieve my dreams, well, F you. Block the hate. So.
Yeah, and that's like an equal sign too.
Yeah, equality sign for not just me, not just for you, for all. You know what I mean? Like, I always say there's room for everyone at the finish line. So just to see you shine isn't going to hurt me, you know, and vice versa.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I tweeted this out a few weeks ago. Clapping,
drop some knowledge on me. Let me hear.
Clapping for other people doesn't take away from your success. And I think that people are so nervous to applaud somebody for doing a great job, or to, even if they're like, you're not in competition with anybody. It's okay to say, hey man, great job, I'm proud of you.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it any better. For example, Tom Lawler and I are like, this has to do with wrestling. Him and I are different, but the biggest respect of my peer is hearing him say in an interview, I would have never thought that I would have stepped in the ring with Darren Young or Fred Rosser, but the minute we touched, I knew it was going to be something special. Now, I can't stand him in the ring, but personally, that means a lot to me, you know?
Yeah.
I want to outdo him. He wants to outdo me, and at the end of the day, we both cross the finish line and have amazing matches, you know, and just any up and coming company on social media that's a starter, whatever it takes. If I'm into them, you know, I want to help them succeed, you know. So whatever it takes, because I was given an opportunity many times, you know. I was given an opportunity with New Japan. WWE told me no over 40 times until I got that one yes. So you've got to be committed and consistent. I mean, and I don't practice what I preach. I mean, I practice what I preach is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it is what it is.
You got the Block the Hate Championship here. Did I see that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I see this in all your social media posts. I've even had the honor of wearing this.
Yeah, exactly. And I brought it because, it's got to be done. We got to have a match, a charity match, where I'm going to put the Block Day Legacy Championship title on the line against you because you need to be in the ring and your style can be similar.
I've got my own championship here. The Chris Van Vliet Championship.
Okay, for charity, we put both titles on the line on the ladder match, and you can mirror Shane McMahon, and I'll just beat your ass. I'll represent New Japan. You'll represent your show.
You think you're going to beat my ass?
Oh,
you think you're going to beat my ass?
All over the ring.
Wow.
All over the ring. All over the building.
That's interesting.
So I'm putting everything on the line. Putting everything
I will
on the
put
line.
the Chris Van Vliet Championship on the line against anybody named Chris Van Vliet. It's a great looking belt.
Thank you.
It really is. Sorry, it's not a belt. It's the title. Belts hold up pants.
Exactly, and where'd you get that from, Vince? Right, Vince McMahon.
Right, and I said something like that.
I say that too.
I said something like that to Cody Rhodes right before AEW started. He's like, "Nah, it's a belt. We'll call it a belt. I'm okay with that." And I went, "I like that." Right. So I interviewed him the week of Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And they were going to unveil the championship at Double or Nothing. Remember when Bret Hart came out and unveiled it? After the interview, he goes, "You want to see it?" And I go, "Yes."
That's how Cody is, man.
He pulls out his phone and goes,
He's so sneaky.
"There it is." I'm like, "Oh, that's good." He's like, "Yeah, looks really good."
Cody is something else. For example, if back in the day in the locker room, he might just say, so is Darren taking the heat again? Like, I hate using wrestling terms, but like, he's like, so is Darren getting beat up again? Because I just love, like, that's just, I love taking the heat. Titus, can like fire up and do a comeback. But there are times when I'm just always taking the heat, So like, he likes to ruffle feathers. So I'm like, Titus, I'm going to do the comeback, and you take the heat, So, yeah, Cody's something else, man.
Who's your best impression? You mentioned earlier, you gave us to John Laurinaitis. Who's your best impression?
Oh, I don't know, man. I get shy like that. You put me on the spot.
You're not shy.
I don't know. I've got to do it in the moment.
Nervous people don't make money.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But, yeah, I can't. I have to always do it on the spot. So if you like...
Okay, so remember that time that you were having that conversation with Vince McMahon and he said that thing to you? I was trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's another like go-to impression?
No, but yeah, I remember Vince was like, when I was talking to him originally about the Bob Backlund gimmick, and again, I always have to go back to Titus about like, you gotta bust through the door. So tag teams don't last forever. When I pitched the idea, I had it all written out, and I had visuals, and I went in his office, and we talked for 20 minutes, and he was like, we were sitting about this close, and Vince was like, how do you get such a big barrel chest like that? And I said, just yoga, because yoga fixes posture, and you're not so slumped over. And he's like, really? That's interesting. So we just talked for like 20 minutes about yoga and the storyline, which he loved, and he contacted Bob, and we went on from there. So yeah, that's like, I got to be put on the spot for that,
I want to ask you the question that you and Arnold ask on your podcast.
What's that?
If you had 30 seconds to put any message out there into the world, what would it be?
When I always go back home, and did I mention it about my grandfather, or did I just do it off air? Well, anyway, 96 years old, he always says, be cool and don't be no fool. You know what I mean? So anytime I go back, listen to his wisdom. That's what I would say, because you just asked me that now. I have to relate.
Don't be no fool.
Be cool and don't be no fool, because this is a crazy world out here. That's why know your surroundings. Every time I talk to my mom, she says, Sonny, know your surroundings, put God first and mommy second. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Know your surroundings, put God first and mommy second. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and big things have been happening to me when you just listen to the message, Be cool and don't be no fool. If I had the world's attention for 30 seconds, damn it, that's what I would say.
I love that. I love that you came by here. Thank you so much.
I said to you, damn it, whether it's an hour or however long it takes, I'm going to be on time and get it done, because who knows, after doing this, I could have an opportunity with AEW ultimately. I can have an opportunity with any major organization and still do my thing with New Japan Strong, and prove my dad wrong again, you know? Prove him wrong again. I love you, Dad. You know, you're a pain in my ass, but damn it, I'm going to prove you wrong. So when you text me, and I can show you the texts, the texts that he sent me, how come you're not on this? How come you're not on that? I got to prove him wrong, and I'm going to do it.
Just wait.
Because of Chris, CVV, I'm going to do it.
I'll ask you the question that I ask everyone in this interview. I asked as my last question. What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for right now?
I'm grateful for my health, because people can strip you of finances, houses, cars, etc., but no one can strip me of my health. I say health is wealth. So,
and I'll give you another great quote, because I dropped a few of them. Health is the crown that the well person wears that only the sick man can see. Like, you don't realize you have it till it's gone.
yes.
It's a Robin Sharma quote.
Okay, yeah, you dropping knowledge on me, and it's in. So
It's in, locked it in. Okay, there's number 1, health.
Health. And what's the question again?
3 things you're grateful for right now.
My God babies. Just seeing them grow up at 8 years old and being able to be an influential impact and have an impact in their life and be around them means the world to me. I love the youth. I love the kids, seeing them grow. So my health, my God babies, and most importantly, me, I'm happy that I'm able to just be me. I'm grateful to be me, because my message is bigger. And every day I wake up, I know someone in any community is counting on me. So I'm going to post away. I'm going to do what I got to do to be a part of interviews and continue to be like a broken record and just share my message, because, 7 billion plus people need to be heard.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much, Fred.
No, thank you, bro. Anytime. Cali shake. You know how to do the Cali shake?
I do.
Boom! Yeah, sometimes I mess that up and fully. Wait, did you just wipe it?
No, I just put my hand down.
Oh, okay.
No, it was one of these, and then boom.
Yeah, the Cali shake. So, we're all vaccinated, and this is like one of my first in-person interviews, since all the craziness.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah.